If you're seeing this video right now, you're about to discover why the government has spent decades hiding the most revolutionary truth about UAP technology. Because according to multiple intelligence insiders who've recently come forward, these craft aren't operated by joysticks or computer systems. They're operated by consciousness itself. And once you understand how this works, you'll realize why they've been so desperate to keep this information classified. Because if humanity figured out that consciousness can directly interface with matter and technology, it would completely transform our understanding of reality and our own potential as conscious beings. For over 70 years, we've been fed the narrative that unidentified aerial phenomena are either weather balloons, experimental aircraft, or if they're real, they must be nuts and bolts technology operated by physical beings using physical controls. But here's what the recent government disclosures are really telling us, if you know how to read between the lines. The technology isn't mechanical, it's consciousness-based, and this isn't science fiction anymore. Let me walk you through exactly how this works, starting with what we now know from official sources. In 2021, the Pentagon released 3 videos showing UAPs performing maneuvers that defy our understanding of physics. But what they didn't emphasize is that these craft are exhibiting properties that align perfectly with consciousness research being conducted at institutions like Princeton and Stanford. Here's the key insight that changes everything. Consciousness, according to quantum physics research, isn't just an emergent property of brain activity. It's a fundamental force that can influence physical reality at the quantum level. And these craft appear to be utilizing consciousness as their primary operating system. Think about it this way. When you decide to move your arm, your consciousness interfaces directly with the matter of your body. There's no joystick, no mechanical interface. Your intention becomes physical movement through a process science is only beginning to understand. Now scale that up to a technology that's been designed to amplify and direct consciousness on a macro level. Multiple military witnesses, including Commander David Fravor from the 2004 Tic Tac incident, have described these craft as seeming to respond to human thoughts and intentions. Fravor specifically mentioned that the object appeared to mirror his aircraft's movements, as if it was reading his intentions before he even acted on them. But this goes deeper than just responsive behavior. According to aerospace engineer and UAP researcher Hal Puthoff, these craft exhibit properties consistent with what he calls consciousness-assisted navigation. They're not fighting against gravity or air resistance. They're manipulating the fundamental fabric of spacetime through focused consciousness. Here's where this gets really interesting for you personally. If these craft are consciousness-operated, that means consciousness is far more powerful than we've been taught. And that has massive implications for human potential. Because if consciousness can interface with advanced technology and manipulate physical reality, what does that say about what you're capable of? The suppression of this information isn't just about hiding alien technology. It's about hiding the true nature of consciousness itself. Because once humanity understands that consciousness is a fundamental force that can directly influence matter and energy, everything changes. Our educational systems, our power structures, our entire materialist worldview becomes obsolete. Let me give you 3 specific examples of how consciousness-operated technology works, based on what we're seeing in these encounters. First, these craft demonstrate instantaneous acceleration without any visible propulsion system. This suggests they're not pushing against air or using conventional thrust. Instead, they appear to be manipulating space-time directly through consciousness-directed field effects. Second, they exhibit what researchers call transmedium capability, moving seamlessly between air and water without any change in performance. This indicates they're creating a localized field that maintains consistent properties regardless of the surrounding medium. This is exactly what you'd expect from technology that operates through consciousness rather than mechanical systems. Third, and this is the most significant, these craft appear to phase in and out of our visible spectrum, sometimes appearing solid and other times appearing translucent, or completely disappearing. This suggests they're not just moving through space, but shifting between different dimensional frequencies, controlled by consciousness. Now, here's what this means for humanity's future. We're approaching a time when the barriers between consciousness and technology are dissolving. The same principles that allow these craft to operate are the principles that govern human consciousness evolution. As more people awaken to their true nature as conscious beings, we're naturally developing the ability to interface with reality in ways that seem impossible from a purely material perspective. This is why meditation practices, consciousness expansion techniques, and spiritual awakening are becoming so widespread right now. We're being prepared for a technological and spiritual integration that will transform human civilization. The question isn't whether this technology exists. The government has confirmed that much. The question is, are you ready to expand your understanding of what consciousness can do? Because the same force that operates these craft is the same force that animates your thoughts, your intentions, and your deepest creative potential. What experiences have you had that suggest consciousness might be more powerful than you were taught? Share your thoughts in the comments below, because I have a feeling many of you watching this have had encounters or experiences that suddenly make a lot more sense in this context. And if you're ready to dive deeper into how consciousness interfaces with reality, make sure you're subscribed, because next week I am revealing the specific techniques these civilizations use to train consciousness for technological interface. This information has been hidden for decades, but it's finally time for humanity to reclaim this knowledge.